Okie dokie. So this is the Monday morning live briefing covering weather from today through this coming Sunday, May 3rd. The only thing significant that has changed is a marginal risk has been introduced to our area for Wednesday, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. First, I just kind of wanted to cover the rain that we had over this past weekend. Not drought busting by any means, but it's certainly more than we've seen in a while. Got a widespread 1/4 of an inch, some places a few pockets of higher amounts. These areas of green is where you've got, isolated areas of 1/2 inch to an inch or so, but mostly under 1/2 of an inch over across the area. Again, not drought busting by any means, but enough to get the ground wet for a couple of days. And then before I move on to the rest of the weather, we'll just do a quick overview here of the weather patterns. So this is what we've got going on today. We've got high pressure over our area. The front and the low pressure system that gave us our wind and our rain over the weekend are well offshore by this point. It's a very active day out in Tornado Alley in the plains, but here locally we've got high pressure today and mostly clear skies. Stepping forward in time here, that high pressure will just kind of hang out over the area going into this evening and overnight, and then going towards tomorrow, that system impacting areas out west nudges towards our area. It does look like the front will stall and the areas of rain moving this way kind of decay, but the Piedmont may be able to squeeze a few showers out of that tomorrow. And then heading into Wednesday, we've got this warm front that's going to lift towards the area, and this cold front approaching from the west-northwest. That's going to be our next rainmaker. We're expecting widespread showers and a few thunderstorms, and some of those may be strong to severe. And then that system moves offshore. Thursday could have a few lingering showers along the coast, but mostly dry on Thursday, and again dry on Friday. All right, going back to our presentation here, just kind of want to touch on that severe weather possibility for Wednesday. So it's kind of a conditional sort of setup where we've got really good dynamics in place. The limiting factor is going to be instability, since there is some cloud cover and maybe some morning showers that could limit the amount of instability over our area. However, if we are able to get even just a little bit of instability into the local area, if we get a few breaks in the clouds, if those showers move out earlier than they're currently projected to, we could get some strong storms on Wednesday. And that's something we'll obviously be monitoring over the next couple days. Because of the dynamics that look like are going to be in place, the shear and the wind field, the primary the risks with that on Wednesday would be damaging wind gusts, and we could also see 1 or 2 tornadoes. As that evolves, we will be updating everyone through our briefings, and depending on how that risk evolves, if it looks like it's ramping up, it could be a stronger risk. We'll do more live briefings as well. Just kind of timing that out. So on the table on the right, I got a timing table. You'll see it's dry today, and then mostly low-end shower chances Tuesday, maybe out towards like Farmville, Louisa. You've got a slightly higher chance for some light rain. And then those higher rain chances really come in Wednesday afternoon, and Wednesday evening is when we really ramp up to that higher coverage of showers and thunderstorms. And the amount of rain we're expecting out of this, looking at 1/2 inch to pockets of 1 inch or so with those heavier showers. Just an overall look at the weather this week. A little cooler compared to what we've been used to over the last several weeks, where we were having temperatures in the 80s and such. But even though it's, we're going to perceive this as being a little cooler, it's really closer to average for this time of year. So a little on the cooler side today, a few spots staying in the 50s perhaps, mostly in the 60s. And then we'll creep up into the 70s in a lot of places mid to late week. And then no frost or freeze concerns overnight. And then this is just a wider look at precip on the right here. Talked about that rain on Wednesday into Wednesday night, and then later into the week and into the weekend, could be a few opportunities for showers. Nothing seems to be widespread at this point, but could remain unsettled going into the weekend, perhaps. We do have some lingering tidal flooding concerns. The tide this morning is a little higher going into tonight through as late as Wednesday. Could see some nuisance flooding, the very, very vulnerable areas, very low-lying areas. Could get some nuisance flooding even in like southern Dorchester County. Could be seeing close to minor flooding thresholds. But overall ramping down in the tidal flooding over the next few days. Just some lingering nuisance flooding in the middle and upper bay. And this is, I suppose this is probably old news by this point, but this was the drought monitor from last Thursday. Most of the area is in severe drought with a few areas of extreme drought in the very southern border of our area. It would take upwards of 6 inches or more to alleviate this level of drought. So, even with the rain we had this past weekend and the rain we're expecting later this week, we're still going to be dealing with drought for a while, unfortunately. All right, switching gears briefly into our marine forecast. So we've got some gusty northeast winds lingering today. We do have small craft advisories up for the coastal waters and the lower bay. The lower bay and the Currituck Sound will drop off later today, and due to lingering seas, those coastal waters and the mouth of the bay will remain up overnight and probably through most of tomorrow as well. But we get a little break from the windier conditions on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday ahead of that front, we'll see those winds pick up out of the southeast. And just doing a brief overlook of the offshore waters as well. Same general idea. You've got those gustier winds out of the northeast today, a break on Tuesday, and then picking up a little bit Wednesday afternoon out of the southeast. And here's a brief look at the waves and seas. Those 5 to 7 foot seas are probably going to linger for a while with those onshore wind directions persisting. So those small craft advisories are probably going to remain up at least overnight and probably for a good chunk of tomorrow as well. Alrighty, and this is the last slide I have for you guys. So yeah, trending a little bit milder compared to yesterday. Mostly dry to start the week, and then we'll be looking at the potential for some severe weather on Wednesday. And yeah, at this point, I can take questions. Oh, I do want to remind everyone that we have started separating our briefings into two separate ones, one for the marine weather and one for the main like land area, our main briefing. So you'll probably notice on our webpage and in our emails and such that it's two separate PDF files now.